kind of want to see if my cat likes corn. No? No, she does not like corn. Wow, Pippin. Hello! Welcome back to your regularly scheduled Pigeon programming. We are switching to one video every 2 weeks, and we're posting on Wednesday. If you didn't see, we are doing videos every other week now instead of every week, and I'm going to be posting them on Wednesdays. We hit 25 subscribers this week, so I mean that's a quarter of the way to 100 subscribers, so I think that's pretty neat. I mentioned at the end of my last video that I actually have no idea if there are any people who watch my videos that don't know me in real life. If you stumble across this video and you don't know me in real life, hi, my name is Laura, this is Pigeon Brain. You guys should comment down below where you're from, just because I think that would be fun. And I'm very bad at engagement fodder, so thank you. The first chunk of this video, I will be finishing a vest that I started a couple weeks back that I gave to my nephew when they came to town this weekend. He is about to turn 5, and the vest is very rainbow, very kidcore. I think he likes it. He definitely was doing that thing that kids do where it was a holiday and he had a lot of sugar, and I was like, what do you think? And he was like, okay. Follow along as I finish up that. Please let me know if you have any questions as I'm going through it, and I will absolutely answer in the comments. He wanted rainbow and stripes, so we're gonna do white linen, rainbow stripes. Honestly, I should be able to do most of it in a couple hours because it's small and there's not a bunch of math. Oh, Pippin, I didn't know this was a co-working space. Did you open a bakery? Oh, sorry, I won't interrupt you. I'll talk to you on your lunch break. Hi, jump scare for continuity errors. At least I put the same shirt and the same glasses on. I forgot to tell you what I've already done prior to this video. So I started with the sewing pattern Boston Top by 5 Berries Patterns. There's gonna be a picture attached up here somewhere. Matt, put the picture up here. Thank you. It's a pattern I already had from years ago, and I traced out the back onto a piece of tracing paper, and then I hacked the front to make it a little bit different, and I will explain that at the end, but I already have those pieces made here. I already had made my rainbow bias tape. There was a clip somewhere else in one of my past vlogs showing it off a little bit, but the pattern pieces are made and I am ready to cut everything out. Okay, let's go. Since I'm over the top, I absolutely always have a cutting mat on my dining room table, and our dining room is not really a dining room. That's why I can use a rotary cutter on my table. The back piece has to be cut on the fold, and the front piece, you need 2 of them. So the whole thing is folded in half, and that's why the first piece is on the edge. Anyway, so my mom made those pattern weights for me because I asked her really nicely. They're just a stack of washers, like metal washers wrapped in fabric, and I love them, so thank you, Mom. Woohoo! This took all of 2 seconds to sew up. I just ran it through my serger. Forever yellows, because I'm not ever going to change the thread. I'm about to sew down the pleat in the back, and I'm just going to do that by hand really quick. Because I don't feel like getting my other machine out right now yet until I have to. And so I chose to mark the pleat in the back 3 inches down because I think I'm going to make a little panel to go across the back of the vest like this. A little like color or another rainbow or something. I'm going to sew this down. Wow, wow, wow. This is going great. I made a couple of these rainbow strips like a couple weeks ago, It was perfect length. Look it. It's perfect. It goes all the way around. I didn't really measure anything, so yay. We'll see if I can get this to turn the corners. I mean, not turn the corners. Round these edges, because bias tape is better at that because the fibers are at the 45-degree angle and you can kind of stretch and curve it better. But these are actually just non-biased strips of fabric, so it might get a little weird down here, but I'm sure that this is gonna be great. Wow, I started tacking down the trim. Since I've been hand sewing more, my stitch spacing and length are just becoming, you know, more uniform as time goes on. So that's very satisfying. I had serged the outer edge of the rainbow trim just because I didn't know exactly what I was going to do with this raw edge yet. So I did from red to orange thus far, and this curve is the problem area that I was a little bit worried about. What's going to happen is this will be sewn down. I ironed it a little bit. This folds out this way, and then it tucks under like this, and then it goes all the way around. It's going to take a little bit of finagling, but I think this little corner is going to be just fine. And so I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to sew the whole thing down by hand first, just to make sure that it all lands in place. Part of the most complicated part might almost be done. This is turning into a quick little project. A few years ago, I did sew a denim jacket for my niece, and it took maybe one day. I just went for it. Shout out to this bear who's my model, emotional support, and physical support, because I use him as a cushion. The rainbow trim turned out amazing. Hello, hi, it's so cute. And I went for it. I made a pattern piece. Oh my god. Hi, Pippin. I made a pattern piece for the back. So that is gonna be this rainbow. And there's Matt with food.
Meow. I go to leave, you don't give a about me. I walk back in. Meow.
I found some fabric that I really liked for the front yoke pieces. They are little cars. I trimmed the rainbow section for the back yoke down, sewed them together at the shoulders, and then zigzagged it down to the neckline. I did this a little wrong, which I will explain at the end, but I'm just showing you where I'm at right now. Now I'm adding some green bias tape for the armholes. I'm just attaching bias tape like normal. You can look up a tutorial on how to do that, or if you are really curious, next time I use it in a video, I will go into more detail, but there are plenty of instructions on that. Be the speed run recap of how I made my vest for my nephew. Okay, first, started with a pattern called Boston Top by 5 Berries Patterns. First, I cut out the proper size of the pattern, okay? Then I traced the back, kept it exactly the same. For the front, I took the center front part and the neckline and the armhole, and I traced that and kept it the same. And I made a line right down the middle for the vest opening because, as you can see, this top has like a little flappy thing. So I drew a line straight down, and then I just curved it out. And since this top, the front isn't one piece, I just made the side seam of the front the same length as the side seam for the back, lined it up. There's your pattern. Okay. Cut out the pieces. That's easy. Do that. Sew the pleat. You can look that up on the internet. It's not that hard. With right sides together, that's when you do the shoulders first, and then you sew the side seams down. Great. We're doing great. Okay. This is where I put the trim on. The rainbow trim, don't do that. This is the wrong time to do that. Leave your vest just how it is, white. Okay, now you do the yoke. Okay, the yoke, basically you're making a tiny vest to set on top of your main vest. So you trace the back of your pattern piece to make your yoke template, okay? I did the rainbow stripes on the back. I just made a rainbow piece and then traced the back of the pattern, okay? Cool. Do the same thing for the front. You basically just trace the shoulder pieces and like right here, okay? You see in the pictures, it's just this piece right here. You can use the pattern pieces you made for the front and back to trace for the yoke, and they overlap. Blue is the yoke piece, pink is the main vest piece. When you have those cut out, you do the same thing that you did for the vest, and you sew the shoulder seams, press it open, okay? Now, pretend someone's wearing the vest, okay? The correct way, not inside out, right side out. Then, to sew down the yoke, you just set your little tiny yoke vest on top of the vest you're wearing, so then that also has the right side out, and then you just top stitch it down around the neckline and around the armholes. I finished the lower edges of the yoke on the back and the front so that I didn't have to mess with raw edges later. When you sew it down with the armholes, it's already sewed down, so you wouldn't even need to sew down those lower edges of the yoke, but you can if you want. I did do that, okay? I just did a top stitch here, top stitch on the back, okay? On the back, the top stitch is like about an inch away from the bottom, so there's a free-flowing edge that lets the pleat do its little movement thing. I thought it looked really cool, so I kept it that way. Now you can do the rainbow trim, okay? Now do the rainbow trim because then you cover up those little edges of the yoke. Do the rainbow trim just like I did it. Now you do the bias binding of the armholes just like you did the rainbow trim. If you don't know how to do bias binding, there's the internet for that. I'm gonna have a link to a YouTube video that Matt's gonna put up that shows how to do bias binding, where the color would be on the outside. Most of the time when you do bias binding, it's hidden inside of your shirt. You want it on the outside of your shirt. Now, do your neckline like you did your armholes, but then halfway through, decide that you like a standing collar better because it looks cooler. And then you absolutely just completely wing it. Don't really remember what I did, okay? So basically, you sew down the first edge of the bias tape. It's sticking up straight. You're like, that looks pretty cool. So then I just doubled the bias tape by making a little seam around the top and flipping it under and whatever. I honestly just was winging it. For the pockets, you just make a rectangle or whatever shape you want your pocket. Make 2 of those. One of the fabrics is going to be on the outside, the other one, it literally doesn't matter, okay? Sew yourself a little pillowcase with the right sides together. Turn your pillowcase right side out, okay? Iron it. Now you got a pillowcase. No raw edges on the outside, except for the top. You fold the top in, you tuck it in, and then you sew that pillowcase closed. No more pillowcase. Now it's just a closed rectangle, okay? Then you set it where you want on your vest, and then you top stitch a little U around the rectangle on the sides and the bottom. Now you have a pocket. Now do that again with a different color of fabric and a different size because you were rushing, okay? And now it's done! Wow, look at that, it's so great! I think it's really cute. Tell me what you think. That's it for that. That's it for that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to talk to this board.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, makes me feel
Does anyone want any pie? No, please, we must go to the... Oh, okay.
Y'all leave the library and you're making your way down back to the second floor hallway. Again, it's sort of like a around the stairs situation with all these different doors with symbols above them denoting what these doors are. But in the middle of this area, before you get to the trophy room...
Move over. Ugh. It's Wednesday, which means I'm halfway between my last video going up and this video going up. So that's pretty cool. You know, I'm one of those like big idea people. So many ideas all the time. I'm gonna lay on the floor and ground myself, and let's see what the spiders are saying to me today about all the crap I want to do. Okay, I made a list. Are you ready? Garage sale updates. I am thinking about filming updates for some of the stuff I bought at garage sales. I've used actually quite a few things that I've bought this summer, and only a few duds so far that I can remember. So I thought that would be fun, but that's kind of a whole thing, and I have to water my plants. I have to water my orchids. My orchids are in the macrame in the pot things hung up. I need to water them. But I thought that would be fun. If I don't do that, oh, I just kicked the table. If I don't do that this week, maybe I'll do it a different week. Oh my God. One of my friends is having their joint bachelor and bachelorette party at the Minnesota Ren Fair in the fall. And I want to immediately stop everything I'm doing and design my Rensona. I have until the end of September, and it's only the beginning of July. But there's this fairy sewing pattern that I found on Mercari that is so cute, and I really want to buy it. I've been in the mood to draw a lot more. I draw for work. A lot of times they'll give us pictures that are like, okay, now turn this flower into a design that can be put on a headstone. So anyway, I've been in the mood to draw more. I have a series of portraits that I started for someone. It's a memorial portraits. And I have a really good idea for it. And hopefully this weekend I'm able to talk to them and see if they like what I have in mind, and if they would allow me to show some of the process and put it on the internet. I started reorganizing all my art supplies, but I don't want to do that because I want to do all these other things I just talked about. This went from putting a few things away to a full-blown reorganization. So I got my art carts. This file, what do you call these? Desk trays, file trays. And like also my pants. I have that neurodivergent need to like sort things in all of the ways all at once. So there's never like a good organized system. Like I want to sort things by color and by fabric type, and like you just can't do that because I want to be like, okay, I want to see all the orange. Okay, now I want to see all the heavyweight fabric. But if it lives in real life, you can't do that. I guess it's a good excuse to just do stuff and then film it and then see what happens. And our snack game is so weak right now. So I might have to walk to the gas station later and get a snack. Halfway through the week. We're grounding ourselves. We're thinking and feeling and doing. All right. Pippi, are you in the way? You're only this cute when I need to cut fabric on the floor. So can you move, please? Oh, are you gonna get up for me? You're so sweet. Thank you so much. I figured I actually would be sad if I didn't do a little before and after if I do finish this little side quest. So Matt is out of town this weekend, and this is a vintage hat box. I honestly could not tell you what year this is from, but it is old. There are staples, so at least whenever the stapler was invented. It's broken, you can see that. I've been hanging on to it for so many years, being like, but it's black and white stripe and I love it because I love Halloween. And like black and white stripes were my thing because I'm a millennial, okay? So black and white stripes were my thing. Last night, Matt's car was having problems. We both are kind of stressed out right now. I think everyone's a little stressed out right now. If you're not a little stressed out right now, I'm so happy for you, but the rest of us are really stressed out right now. Matt has his own workroom. I'm not going to give you the before of the workroom because that's mean. I'm not going to air his dirty laundry like that, quite literally. But the second bedroom in our place is Matt's workroom, his office. I guess we call it a workroom, but it's his office. I just now realized how weird it is that we call it the workroom and not the office. Okay, Matt's office, he's a really silly guy. I don't know if you know this about my husband. He's a comedian. He's a really silly guy. He and his friends do a bunch of weird stuff, and he has a lot of wigs, glasses, random costume fodder, a crown that he's been wearing. It's a whole thing. He has lots of costume bits that he ends up having to dig out of the basement, and then they just lay around the workroom, the office. So while he's gone this weekend, I'm going to tidy up in there. I'm going to clean up a little bit. And he had just gotten some new bits and bobs in for a thing that him and his friends are doing. And so I am going to take this broken hat box. I'm going to glue it all back together. I'm considering lining it with fabric, like gluing fabric in here. Gluing it all back together, and then I'm gonna put like his wigs and hats and like mustaches and like his disguise. This is gonna be his disguise box. Thank you for watching Pigeon Brain. Wasn't that fun? 2 weeks from now, you will see the end of the disguise box project for Matt in the workroom, and whatever other shenanigans I decide to get up to. Special shout out to Kate from New Mexico, who said hi in the comments and told me where they were from. That was very exciting. If you liked this content and made it this far into the video, you might as well subscribe because you're one of the very few people that make it this far. So congratulations, you get a gold star. I think that's it for now. Bye-bye!